WGHT, joining Jimmy Howes and Greta Latona on the morning show, our governor, Christie. Thank you for joining the show this morning.
Oh, thank you, Greta and Jimmy. Happy to be here.
Hey, Governor Christie, I remember seeing you walking down East Rutherford Main Street during the summer. It was like 150 degrees. Everybody was saying, who is that guy? Everybody was saying, that's our next governor.
It was incredible. It was
hot that day. I couldn't believe it. I saw you on the news. I was like, what, is he kidding? But
that's what I said to my campaign. Are you kidding?
Could you imagine that? Some of the things you have to do when you're running for office, but everybody loves you, and congratulations on winning.
Thank you.
Now, what's going on with the budget and the school cuts? I know it's a very unfriendly thing to have to talk about, but there has to be a way to close the gap in the budget, and can you tell us all about it?
Well, listen, your listeners should understand that what happened was that last year, Governor Corzine spent over $1 billion in one-time federal aid on education aid to our K-12 schools, knowing that that money was going to be going away and was not going to be here for this year. And so what we had was a loss of over $1 billion in federal aid. I've increased the funding to K-12 schools by $230 million, but that still leaves an $820 million gap. And, you know, we just, in New Jersey, have spent too much money over time on a lot of different things, had too much debt. And now, you know, this past Monday, the Tax Foundation came out and said that once again this year, we're the most heavily taxed state in America and the worst state for business tax climate. So we now have to, you know, buckle down, start saving on our spending, and take the tough medicine we need so that when the economic recovery comes, we can start putting people back to work because we still have nearly 10% unemployment.
Yeah, it is a tough pill to swallow. Now, a lot of people that criticize you are saying it goes back to the gubernatorial campaign when the union activity campaigned against you. This has nothing to do with that, Governor, right?
No, listen, the unions campaigning against me had nothing to do with losing $1 billion in federal funding.
Right.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. They campaigned against me. That was their right to do. Now, listen, they spread a lot of lies, as you'll remember, during the campaign about me, and I certainly didn't appreciate that, but that's over and done with. What we now have to do is govern the state. The fact of the matter is I have nothing against teachers. I'm a product of the public schools in New Jersey, and I think teachers work hard and do a great job. Their union, though, is completely unrealistic. In a time when we have 10% unemployment, when people who are fortunate enough to have jobs in the private sector are not getting raises at all, in fact, many of them are getting salary cuts to keep their jobs, these folks are getting 4 and 5% increases a year on the backs of the taxpayers, plus the overwhelming majority of them pay absolutely nothing towards their health insurance. And you know, this is just something that we can no longer afford as a state. The union insists on continuing to have it, and that does nothing to help educate the children. It's all just money that's going to the teachers union. So, you know, this is a problem. I mean, we heard yesterday that the executive director of the teachers union statewide in 2007 made $550,000.
Right.
You know, I don't know where we're headed, but, you know, I'm going to stand up and fight for this stuff.
Hey, Governor Christie, now, since we have you here, and I know you're short on time, you have a million places to stop today. After all, you are the governor. Thank you for what you did regarding Passaic County and Essex County and the other counties about the flood-ravaged areas here, trying to go through the president's office and helping us with the situation here in New Jersey, because WGHT radio was right in the heart of the flood district here in Pompton Lakes, you know, and thank you for what you did.
Well, listen, it's extraordinarily difficult for the folks in your listening area in particular, and that's why when I was up there last week, I said we've got to start moving quickly at the federal level, and I'm going to urge our congressional folks to do it and make sure the money is there for the state to do it on flood control projects, effective flood control projects up in the Passaic Valley area. I mean, it just, you know, is just unacceptable that this continues to happen now with increasing frequency up there. And it's bad. We've done a very good flood control project down in Somerset County in the Bound Brook area, which is about 2/3 done, and will be done in the next 18 months and will help to prevent flooding down there. We need to do the same kind of thing, and we need to get to our congressional representatives to get federal money to have that flood control project done.
And Governor Christie, back on the flood situation, I mean, back on the budget situation, you're not cutting people off at their knees. You're going to still offer more state aid to the school districts whose teachers agree to the wage freezes, and it's not going to be a forever thing, right?
No. I mean, listen, that's the thing. We know this is a temporary situation. When economic growth returns to the country and to the state of New Jersey, we have more people back to work. Those people will be paying taxes, and we'll have increased revenue at the state level. And one of the first things I'll look to do is to increase aid again to local school districts. But, we all know we're going through a crisis. And here's the thing that New Jerseyans understand. They know that the government's been out of control. They know that raising taxes 115 times in the last 8 years was not good for the people in New Jersey or our state as a whole. And despite that, and that's why people who now call for another increase in taxes, the public should look very closely at those folks, because we've raised taxes 115 times in 8 years, and we're still sitting here with a budget deficit of nearly $11 billion.
Well, some school districts have already signed on, including a couple in our listening area. Boonton, in particular, has signed on, and we'll work with you on this. And other school districts have about a week to make their final budget submissions and declare whether their teachers will accept the wage freezes. And at least, Governor, you have a plan, and I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. Anything you want to say in closing before you head out to your next one?
Listen, what I'd like to say, thank you all first for having me on this morning. And to your listeners, I want to say, I realize these are difficult times, and these budget decisions are not ones that I would like to make. But I think that people voted for me last November because they thought I would get state government under control and turn Trenton upside down from the normal things it's been doing. I hope they've seen over the last 10 weeks now that I've been governor that I've been willing to take these things on head on and tell them the truth. And that's what I'll continue to do over the next 4 years. And I feel incredibly fortunate, incredibly gratified to be governor of New Jersey, in the state where I was born and raised. And so I'm just going to keep working hard and telling the truth, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Hey, Governor Christie, it's exciting to talk to a governor that's passionate about his job. It's been a while since we had one.
Well, Jimmy, thanks, and credit too. Thank you very much for having me on the program this morning. I'd be happy to come back whenever you want me.
All right, have a great day, Governor.
Thank you. You too.